Okay, let's talk about rotating things. It's simple. It's the same thing that we did for scale. Let's say we want this to spin as the video goes on. So we'll begin it here, and we will um, click the clock next to rotate, and at 150 frames, we will say, so this here is how many times it rotates, I guess. And, whoops, let's put that to 0. And this here is how many degrees it rotates. So yeah, if I do that, it actually rotates degrees. If I put a 1 here, it does nothing because that 1 represents a full rotation. So how about, yeah, why don't we say a full rotation occurred? And now let's play it. And what happened here? Let me delete and start over. At the very beginning, we'll click the clock. Then we'll go to 150 frames. Oh, this is what happened. At the beginning, it already says 1. At the beginning, I have to click the clock and make it say 0. This way it's locked in at 0. Then at 150 frames I go in and I change it to 1. Now it will spin. Bam. Now this is cool and all, but what if I didn't have text? What if I had the SAMHSA logo? Let's get that in here. Now, what if I want this SAMHSA logo to spin, right? Okay, so I'll just pretend you didn't see what I just did there sneakily. Okay, so you import a picture and you want it to spin. So you do what you know to do. You click the clock next to rotation at when it's at 0, and then you go to 150 frames or 200 frames or 100 frames, and you change that to a 1. Now watch it rotate. Now, somehow it doesn't look like it's rotating. It looks like it's spinning. And the reason is that it's not rotating about its own axis. It's rotating about this axis. Well, you don't want it to rotate about that axis. You want it to rotate right in the middle of its head. You know what I mean, right? This is imagine a picture on a bulletin board. The thumbtack right now is here, which makes it spin in this weird ass way. But we want the thumbtack around which it spins to be right here. And the way you do that is you just go to anchor point, like we did last time, and you move that around so that that crosshair is right in the middle of SAMHSA's face. You can do this with anything. Now, if we play it, it'll spin about its own axis, and it'll stay in one place. Heck, that even looks a little off, so we'll go up a little bit more. And I think this should be it. See, now it looks like it's spinning in place. There we go. Then we can make it spin backwards and forwards and backwards again. But that's how you make something rotate. Now let's go back to the text real quick. Why did I go through all the trouble of that anchor point thing? Because it is important. And why is it important? Because you could make things rotate or pivot. So if we go back to transform and we make it rotate, now you see, notice the anchor point is here on the corner. If we make it rotate, it just pivots. That's because the anchor, well, it's essentially rotating about this point, but it looks like it's pivoting. If we change the anchor point so that it's in the center of the word, then it sort of looks like it's rotating. So now it'll look like a rotation. Anyway, that's the whole deal with anchor points and rotation and pivoting and rotating.